Okay, hello everybody. Let's start continue discussion about convolutional neural networks. Before we jump into detail, do you have any question about whatever we discussed so far or about your project?
Yeah, I was curious how folks in the class are doing with the project. Does anybody feel like they're in good shape with it?
Yeah, let's discuss that. That's a good point. And maybe if there is something that we could do to facilitate this, let me know. Let us know. Basically, we are happy to facilitate this discussion. But maybe now is a good time if you want to discuss. If you have others have made some progress, you want to discuss. That's a good time, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone else want to go ahead.
Okay. I have a lot of question to ask. Like, first, before I took this discussion, we have a discussion of machine learning in regard of my research, because I'm from mechanical engineering. My research is all about.
Can you enable your video, Joshua?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
better.
Okay. I'm from mechanical, and we have a discussion first before I actually took this course. Many of us from other departments, we don't have enough background in CSCE and stuff like that. Like me, I use other things for my research, VARs, LAMs, but my advisor actually wants me to learn machine learning to predict these properties. So, but ever since this project, it's really different because most of the things we are new to it. Like, and what I've noticed in the class, we have more of students from CSCE, and the pairing of this group would have been done in such a way that maybe you can do the pairing like 2 people from CSCE, 2 from other departments, so that we can learn from there. Like the 4 of us in the group, we have an issue. We cannot even install the ATHENA. Those that have ATHENA have issues running. In fact, we just confused on what to do.
Right. So
Yeah.
your suggestion is to basically you want your teammates be from CS side, right? Is that what you are asking?
Yes, like some from CSE and others from, so that we can learn something from them. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, how we can facilitate this? I mean, you could form the group through Piazza as well as GitHub to.
Yeah, but
connect.
The issue is that the CSE student, they know themselves and they quickly pick themselves before you can even ask. They say, oh, I have a group already, I have someone already, I have someone already. So it's just left for us that are coming from other departments just to pair up with ourselves, and we keep having issue to run this. Like me, this is the first time I'm using GitHub, like if we can help with this student, we can learn from them, and oh, this is how to do it. So, first we can run this project and finish this project. For now,
I agree. It's a good suggestion. I wish you would have suggested it earlier so we could facilitate that connection. But still, I believe it's not too late. And I guess you had the chance to meet and discuss with Ying, right? In order to resolve these initial issues that you have had for with installing ATHENA and other libraries that ATHENA is dependent on, right? And if she can help in any sort, she's happy to meet with you guys, but I would prefer if you guys schedule it in a way that several of you could attend such meeting, right? So she could help in installing, resolving this issue, or discussing even ideas. Because this first step, you need to figure out, okay, the first step is to install things, set up and get some very initial results, see how framework works, right? And that's the first thing you want to do. this should be easy. I know there should be some challenges that would be helpful if you discuss it with Ying, and she can definitely help with that. But in general, this first step is a kind of a struggle that you will see across all different projects. So it's not just for Athena, like you will see for most project that you want to do, right? And there are many things that you can learn from this project. So, and that's why basically I wanted to, initially I wanted to provide several projects, but I thought since we have this foundation and I see a lot of opportunities in this, both in terms of research, both in terms of technical aspect, the importance of these topics, cybersecurity of machine learning, which is highly relevant to this course. And since we have been extending on this foundation for quite a while, and there are lots of, in terms of machine learning, there are lots of like opportunities in terms of, for example, the detail how weak defenses work, the kind of models you could use. You are free to use any model, right? You are not restricted even to deep learning models. You could do whatever we discussed, in terms of in this class, right? Even you could use naive-based kind of models, right? Any models that you could build these weak defenses. So you have flexibility there. If you're interested in particular type of model, you would like to go deeper and understand them deeper, right? You could also think about more high level, the way how the ensemble work, right? There are lots of opportunities. I mean, ensemble models, ensemble learning is a very important part of machine learning. And if you're interested in that, there are lots of opportunities. Ensemble, typically I mentioned, they perform really well in many different tasks due to the nature or the characteristic that they have. There are loads of opportunities for deployment side, the connection between machine learning and systems, right? I mentioned about deployment on resource constraint devices, right? How you, for example, you want to deploy such defense where you need to use several weak defenses in a small environment, right? You could imagine a variety of different environments from very small. I showed you, right? So we have different these very small platform where you have really limited resources to deploy stuff there. You can imagine a slightly bigger one, such as this, where you have more flexibility, maybe putting more weak defenses there, or you can go all the way down to something like this. And this is also another, for example, this is NVIDIA Xavier, has more capability and connectivity to also cloud and stuff. So there are lots of opportunity in the space of systems and machine learning in the context of this project, if you are interested to do. Beyond this, there are opportunities in terms of, for example, model compression, opportunities in terms of hybrid ensembles where you use different types of models in the ensemble, from something like neural network to even random forest, you know, even with BaseNet, a combination of those, putting together an ensemble, a hybrid ensemble, right? The skies are the limit, right? Loads of opportunity even within this context, if you are interested to work on. I know it's at the beginning would be challenging, but it would be really helpful if you find your way and focus on these tasks, initial tasks, and learn from it. I'm 100% sure there are loads of opportunities for learning nice stuff that would be potentially might be usable for your research as well eventually.
Yeah, so I would like to hear from some computer science students as to how they're doing, if anyone has gotten this installed. This has been a nightmare from start to now for me constantly. I've resolved the installation issues. It took me like 40 hours to do so, but I was able to get it running, and I'm still completely lost here. But my background is electrical engineering. I don't know how much of my problems are due to my own lack of background in computer science. Can any computer science students speak as to whether they've had success here? Because if they're not doing well, I don't know how I will be expected to do well.
Yeah, any successful try?
Yeah, so I after the recent pushes to the repository, everything was I was able to install everything just fine. So I mean, if anyone's still having issues with setting it up, I would expect maybe you haven't fetched like the new changes to the repository. That's something to definitely think about. Because the setup, there's a file under the notebooks folder is setup.md. And that the instructions there are very, very clear. And then there's also been some changes that have been made to the requirements.txt file. So those, I don't know, with those changes and with that new setup instructions file, everything seems to work fine. Like I was able to run the craft adversarial examples and the transformations file, both fine.
Yeah, I was going to mention that actually.
Yeah, I worked with Ying Saturday, and I did it all last night. I just redid the entire thing and it was magically working again. So
But you guys feel like you know what you're doing after you've gotten the setup issues resolved? Do you feel like you can complete this task successfully?
Not gonna lie, I haven't even really had chances to look at that yet.
Yeah, and thanks, Benjamin, for your contribution, right? Like Benjamin, for example, contributed to make this instruction better, right? And we appreciate if you resolve some of these issues, if you have some thoughts, making the instruction better, more clear. If somebody wants to clear a Docker image out of these, all of these are welcome, right? And I mentioned this is the description is not perfect, and you could make it much better, right? But I guess like since we have successful deployment of this stuff, at least Ying has successful deployment, so we know that it works, and you should be able to also do the same with some initial struggle. Any other success or question or suggestion on this?
I have a question about task one. Are we creating our own attacks through the config file, and then are we training Athena for that, or are we just creating the attacks?
So basically, the attack algorithms are there. So what you need to do is to create adversarial examples, right? You have these benign examples, right? These benign example, this is what you get from the benchmark, right? For example, C400, you want to use this, the testing example to test how well it works, right? And these are benign examples. So you use the attack algorithms, right? Different attack mechanisms that we mentioned to generate these adversarial examples, and you test the performance of like either undefended or the defended model with ATHENA, or with different variation of defense that you build with ATHENA with these adversarial examples, right?
I guess my question is, I don't know how to test the adversarial examples with Athena. How do we feed those examples to Athena and have it spit out some sort of data?
Right. Ying, are you here? Do you want to answer that? I'm not sure. Let me ask her. I would suggest her to.
And additionally, besides feeding it to the undefended model and to Athena, we're also supposed to feed it to another state-of-the-art defense called PGD ADT. And the description says all these models will be provided. Has that been provided? If so, where is it? I mean, is there a tutorial? I have no idea how to even begin that task.
Yeah, Ying. Is she on the list or? Yeah, she is now joined.
Yes.
Yeah, she's here. So students have some questions about Athena. Do you want to repeat your question again? Sorry.
Yeah, my question is, we have to make the adversarial examples, I'm assuming through the config files. But my question is, after we make those, how do we feed it to Athena to actually test our examples and then have some sort of data on how well it did, how well it was defended against, or how well we attacked?
Okay. So do you know how to prediction? Excuse me. Whoever asked the question, do you know how to use a classifier to predict images?
No.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Ying.
Let me see if I have some examples there.
But I can, yeah, maybe show that through the example, right? That is better. But before you start, maybe I can add something here to at least conceptually explain what's going on, and that might be useful for you. Then Ian can walk you through the code and show you exactly how you need to do that. But essentially, how you think about this is that you have your model, right? This is your model, right? And this model could, again, in the most simplest case, could live in your laptop, right? This is the model that you trained, okay? And then you have some examples, and this could be benign samples or your AEs, right? And these are some specific AEs, adversarial examples that you generated using these attacks, right? So you use this attack algorithm to generate these AEs, okay? And like typically, I mean, in your workflow, you have a set. So this benign example where your test set of, for example, CFAR under it, right? Like 10K example that you have, you use the attack, you create a 10K example of adversarial example with, like, for example, CW attack, right? Or FGSM attack, whatever you want to use. And then you have the adversarial examples, and then you want to ask your model, what do you think the label of this example is, right? So you have one example, X1, coming from this 10K adversarial example, and then you ask your model, what is the label of this? And it gives you a label, right? And then you compare this label with the true label. So you have three different things. So you have, so this is the prediction that is done by your model. And this model imagine this model is your undefended model, right? Without even ATHENA, right? So you ask your model, what is the label? And then you compare it with the true label, because you have the true label of these 10K example from your test set, right? Whether your model predicted this example correctly or not. This is undefended model, right? With ATHENA, you do the same. You have a defended model, right? Like let's call this undefended model. But you do the same, and this defended model with ATHENA, right? You feed basically your example to ATHENA and ask ATHENA, so let's call it this F of defended model. What is the label of this? And then you get a label for this, and then you compare it with the ground truth, right? How well it performed on the ground truth, whether it was fooled or not, right? And then you keep track of how much error it makes on these adversarial example versus the benign examples, right? But think about this as a model that lives in your computer in the simplest case. But if you want to deploy it somewhere, a remote device, you could do that also. You could set up a model server. You could load your model there in remote environment, and you could do the same, like asking the model server interface, what is this label, right? You feed, when you have a remote server, like you have an IP, you have an interface. You can ask this interface, what is the label of this example, whatever it is, and you calculate whatever metric you are interested. So for example, typically you want to calculate the accuracy or the error rate. And simply these are like metric. The only thing you need to know, okay, on per example, what was the label, and compare it with the ground truth and calculate the error rate. Simple as that. But Ying can go into the code and show you the same.
Sure. Okay. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. So could you see the code?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So actually, I have provided you guys a method. Let me see in the metrics, utils metrics. So here I have provided you guys this error rate, help you to compute the error rate of an AE, and you need to provide the predictions. These predictions were made on the adversarial examples, and these ground truths, the true labels, where you loaded from the, let me see, from the, basically if you are using MNIST, this is the true labels. If your files was, if your AEs were generated using this benign sample, so the files were, the images were saved in the same order. If you did not generate your AEs using based on this benign sample, I guess you need to save your true labels, because when you load the samples from the database directly, the order might not be the same. So okay, where's okay. So we have this one. I will show you how to call it. So in this craft adversarial examples, this file, let's use this file. So now in this example, we will generate AEs use this FGSM with epsilon equals 0.25. And then I think many of you guys have run this sample, right? So here, let me remove this. Okay, so previously you will see something like this. This is the original, how it looks. Okay, so import this error rate from this file, and then in here, because I don't want to plot the images here, I simply so you can see here in this line, line 45, we predict the adversarial examples using the model. So it will give you predictions. This is the matrix. Each row will be a factor of probabilities on each class. So after you get these predictions, you can do, I mean, you can get the predicted label, or you can directly pass it to this this method. I have handled this for you. So either you can pass the labels or the predictions, probabilities, I mean. Okay. So the error rate will equals to the error rate. So you can do something like this, the predictions and the true labels. So that's it, simple as that. Okay, so we can print it. And print it out to see. Okay, and we can run this example. Shape. Okay. Oh, okay. I know what's happening here. Actually, this is not necessary just because I use the shape, so you need to convert it to an array. Okay. Another one. Okay, label. So the label is label. Oh, here. I didn't know that I have passed it to labels. Okay. So you can see the error rate is 0.8. So that means 80% of the generated examples can fall the targeted model.
Or maybe if you go to the code again, to clarify for those who don't know, like explain before doing the prediction up there, what you're doing there. What is data add?
Oh, we have last time we have showed this example. So okay. Yeah, and I believe many of the students has played with this one. So in previous class we have went through this this example here. I will upload this updates to the GitHub, so you can check it later. Okay, I will add some comments as well. Okay.
Okay, so we don't actually have to generate any benign data set, right? That's already created for us. We're just
we already have the benign samples.
Okay.
So yeah, for simplicity, I have saved the benign samples and the true labels. So the images in these two files, they were saved in the same order. So that means index 1, the label in this, I mean the index 1 is the label for the index 1 image in this one. in this file. And here are the files, are the AEs we generated in ATHENA. So these files we provided as the baseline or for you to check it how the generated AE should looks like. So you will have some idea when you increase this this adversarial, this, for example, for FGSM, when you increase the epsilons, how the AEs will looks like, how it will infect the AEs, the perturbations. Yeah. Okay. So any further questions regarding the project?
Yeah, there was some question, I forgot who asked about where some of these models can be found. Do you want to repeat it?
Yeah.
I forgot who asked.
I'm not sure if you're referring to my question, but my question is more with the second part of this project. After you generate adversarial examples, you have to run them through not only the undefended model, but through Athena and through some other thing called PGD ADT, I believe. And the assignment description said that those models would all be provided. I certainly don't see where PGD ADT has been provided, but I'm not sure I even understand how to run it through Athena either. Is that the other tutorial?
Oh, okay. So PGD that ADT, that's just one model. You just load it and predict. You use them. For example, this is the model that you loaded from PGD ADT. It just, the usage is the same. You just load the model and call this API. Yeah, we add a wrapper on top of the Athena and our weak defenses to, so you can use these models by calling this predict. So you can use it
maybe
with the same APIs.
So, for example, what they need to change here, for example, to test it against Athena or PGD ADT, right? Do you want to show this scenario?
I think maybe let me. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I can. I will give you another tutorial tonight but I think I have shown you last time to evaluate this.
It looks to me like it comes from the model MNIST.json, right?
Yes. So the models, the WDs you wanted to use, you want in your ensemble, it's defined in something like this. You can provide your own name. Yeah, but it will looks like this. So here this ensemble consists of 19 WDs, weak defenses, and each weak defenses has the configuration of the transformation. Yeah. I think maybe let me provide you a tutorial with comments tonight.
Yeah, I think comments would go a long way in these tutorials to helping me understand what it even does and how I'm supposed to modify it to do what I'm supposed to do, because I mean, I see your code there, but it's not abundantly clear to me what I'm supposed to do with it to actually accomplish the task.
Yeah, because here, I don't want to show you, because this task one actually it's simple, and I don't want to, I didn't provide the whole process because I think otherwise I have done everything for you guys. So I want you to play a little bit. So that's why I hide some details.
And I can appreciate that, but the amount of time I've put into this project already just to get, I mean, the most minimal functionality is unbelievable. I could not do it if I wasn't taking only this class right now. But I mean, you've got to provide some help to us and give some comments or something in these files, because you can say it's simple, but I'm 100 hours into the project and I don't have anything working yet. So
to be clear, what part is not, what is your question? Because you are not giving us a specific question here that Ying can help, right? So to be clear, the first task is trivial already, and like if Ying wants, if you want Ying to do this task, then this is something else, right?
No. I don't want Ying to do the task. I want a clear assignment. If you want specific questions, I can load them at you right now.
Yeah. If that's it, I guess a good time. If you have a specific question and Ying can clarify, yeah, go ahead. That would be good.
Okay. First one, I think I've already asked. I'm not sure I got a clear answer. Where is the PGD ADT provided? How do we implement that defense?
Okay, I will give you an. So tonight I will give you an tutorial. So loading one model and use it to predict, and a tutorial to use prediction, and an example to use ensemble to do the prediction. So
okay,
do you think that will help?
Yeah,
that will be helpful, particularly if there's comments in it, will be really helpful. Are we supposed to generate adversarial examples for all of the 10,000 images in the MNIST testing data set? Because we're doing 3 different attacks, 5 different configurations for each attack. So that's 15 attacks. And on 10,000 images, that's 150 image processing iterations, which I tried on my laptop using DeepFool and a few other things, and it's taking like 12 hours to run.
DeepFool is a slow one. Only the FGSM and maybe BIM is a little bit faster.
Have you verified that all of the pre-provided attack methods actually do what they're supposed to do? Because I've tried both for DeepFool and JSMA. I have used the pre-configured ones and even made the attacks really strong, and they do absolutely nothing to the images. The images look identical to the unperturbed images, and even the undefended model predicts it exactly the same as it predicts the benign images. Could there be a bug there?
Actually, they wanted to they just want to generate as close images to the, as close as possible to the benign samples. So if you cannot recognize the noises, that might means that means the attack is a good one or something like that.
Right,
but it's not a good attack because the undefended model is predicting it correctly every time.
Yeah, this is what he's saying, right? So
predict correct. So I think that can be many courses. It's not Yeah, there
So
are many courses.
I
cannot
attack
give,
in
I don't have
particular
a-
you tried FGSM that you observed?
FGSM and PGD have worked for me. They clearly do something to the image. Deepful and JSMA are the ones I've tried so far that appear to do absolutely nothing to it.
I see. And have you tried to play with the parameters that they have?
Yeah, I've ramped the attack strength up to much higher than the default values, and they still do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, maybe
okay.
right.
Okay, I cannot give you a quick answer right now because there are maybe many different courses. Yeah,
Sure.
there.
You guys asked for
Many factors
specific
can-
questions, so I'm trying to provide them, but I appreciate that you
No,
can't
this
just
is
answer everything.
good. Maybe you could
Yeah.
you could open an issue and provide what exactly you have done, and Ying can replicate this why it has happened, right? And could help with that.
Yeah, one reason could be, I mean, because previously we generated this AEs on based on top of the TensorFlow, and for simplicity for this to make it simple for this project, I refactor and built on top of the PyTorch ABM art that was built on top of PyTorch. I think that's one reason. That's one possible reason that they might require different, I mean, values for the adversarial setting. So that's one reason, and the other reason we might need to check the scale of your pixel. Yeah, so have you checked the pixel values? Have you scale all of them between 0 and 1? Because in previous in Athena we scale all the I mean pixel values between 0 and 1. That's one possible reason, and yeah, that's two things I can think of right now.
Yeah, most probably this is the
Yeah.
scale of this pixel value that you need to do. But anyway, like if you could give when you open this issue, give us as much information as Ying can replicate this, then she can give you a answer to make it correct, right?
I'll open an issue.
Regarding the comments, I'm not sure how detailed I need to provide, so I have to comment line by line. I'm not sure because
I mean,
for some of them you don't.
For some of them, not right, yeah, for those, I mean, few words, right? What each important block of the code does, right? Not line by line, but block by block, right? And by block, I mean specifically chunk of lines in each method, right?
Yeah. Okay.
As much as they could help the students to figure out things and learn. This is what I would also suggest that would be useful.
Right. Because my experience is I do something, it doesn't do what I expect. And then even if you've commented a little bit in this top level, invariably the error is thrown somewhere 5 files down in something that called something that called something that called something. And all of that is almost completely uncommented. And I'm working with 2,000 lines of Python code here that I didn't write, I've never seen before this project, and I don't know how to debug with this system. Particularly when I'm not even an experienced programmer to begin with, and I'm brand new to Python. So really, as much commenting is really, really helpful for novices like me.
Yeah, that's a very good feedback. Thanks. She will do so. Yeah. Right. This is very good.
Okay. So let me answer one of your questions. You were mentioning whether you need to generate the AEs for the whole 10K, right? I don't think so, because for some of the some of the attacks, they cost. So I think maybe, I'm not sure.
I mean, you could decide, right? I think in the project description, we give them this flexibility, right? They could decide the size of the adversarial example, but it should be reasonable size. It shouldn't be 10, for example, right? It should be reasonable. It doesn't necessarily need to be 10K, like 1,000, maybe like a few hundred, right? But you guys decide, as long as you call it representative enough, that's good enough, right? We don't definitely want you to spend lots of time generating these like adversarial example, but as long as you have representative sets, that should be good.
Yeah, just one more comment. If you, for example, if you generate adversarial examples based on your own subset, please provide the corresponding true labels, because we don't know what AEs what benign samples you generated. You choose, so we cannot get the true label from that. So you need to provide a true label, and yeah. Okay.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. So.
And if you look at this new version that we shared, I also put the link to this new version of the paper. You will see that we also made some trade-off, right? Sometimes like we made the test set for adversarial example smaller to finish the task, right? And you can do so, right? As long as you can call it representative sets, that should be good enough. I would encourage others also ask questions like Andrew asked. It was very useful. So if you have specific questions, please do so, right? Otherwise, like I assume that you know what you are doing and you have no problem. So like telling us that you have had problem and you didn't ask is not good. So we don't take it. If you have problem, now is the time to ask those. Especially if you have also conceptual issue understanding what's going on, you can answer those too as well if you want.
Yeah, any questions? Basically, any questions regarding the project, you can open issues.
Yeah, and do that as soon as possible, right? So telling us that you couldn't do this like in the last minute, we don't take it, right? Not acceptable, definitely. Now is the time.
No, don't you have any questions to ask?
Yeah, I still have a clue.
Joshua, do you have a question? Probably not.
Yes, I was just talking to someone in my group. We actually, although you've explained a lot of things, but they still look really confusing to us. We have to look into the project. From now to Thursday, we'll try as much as possible to get the ATHENA working. Then we can see if we have any question to ask. For now, we really can't say anything because it didn't work for us at all.
What do you mean it didn't work for you?
Have you run the examples I provided?
We couldn't run the example you provided.
So you need to tell me what happened so I can help you to make it. To get it run on your computer.
Yeah, you need to provide the error, right, in order to help with that.
Okay, maybe that would be on Thursday because
so actually, Ying, if you remember, we were at the virtual meeting on Saturday. And we actually tried so much to make the Athena run, and it didn't run. And we could not resolve the dependencies of those plugins from the meeting on Saturday. So till now, it's still not
yeah,
working.
I have opened the issue for you guys. I have spent basically half of my weekend to search all the possible, so that you mentioned the issue. Let me share my screen.
So I also was having that
Um,
issue on Saturday. Somebody in the chat said that they reinstalled Anaconda and it started working. So I tried that. Now
So
I'm
is
getting
this
exit
one?
with error code 1 instead of
Okay, then
that
yeah.
one.
So you need to tell me. You need to tell me what's your problem, and So here, this was the problem we met on Saturday's meeting. I think three of the students have encountered this issue. I have spent lots of my time on this to search all the possible courses. And
So this is for Windows environment, Ying?
I think this has nothing to do with the environment. It's just but somebody have this encounter this issue that was because of the ADE, the editors. I have also suggest to use another ADE or something like that, but because I never encountered this issue, so I cannot try these solutions one by one for you guys. So you need to try the solutions I provided and tell me whether this doesn't work for you, and you need to tell me, and then we need to figure out another possible solution, right?
Yeah. So I'm one of those students that was having this issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed a suggestion from someone in the chat here that I just uninstalled Anaconda, deleted the folder, and reinstalled everything. And I tried running the craft adversarial, and I'm not getting the same error code. Now I'm just getting exit code 1 with TensorFlow is not found. So it sounds
so
like
you
now
need
that's a
to
separate issue.
You need to install the TensorFlow.
Okay, and that just the Conda install, or is that pip install?
Have you tried using that setup.md?
Yeah, that setup an MD file basically solved everything for me. So
where is
instructions through there?
That
it's under the notebooks folder.
Yeah, can you show them real quick?
Yeah, so in here, try this setup.
Okay.
Try this.
I just went through the chat from Saturday, so we'll look through that one.
Oh yes, in the chat we install the TensorFlow. I mean, you might miss that because the chat was chat. I might forgot to type this comment line in the chat. Yeah.
Joshua, have you also followed the same setup instructions?
No, I'll do that today or tomorrow.
Yeah, please let me know.
Right?
Yes.
Because we don't take anything that like you face in the last minute and you couldn't do it, right? Not acceptable, right?
Yeah, please let me know as soon as possible. Okay. If you please try this, and so we can move on. Okay, so there was if you encounter some issues that you cannot run the code because of some file does not exist, please download this file, JSON file, I think here, because you didn't download it put it in this demo code folder. I think I just saw this. Yeah, so it says cannot find this this JSON file. You just download this file and put it in the demo folder.
Yeah, there is a file with that exact name already in the demo folder. The file
Yes.
exists, but it says it doesn't. Can you explain more?
Then you need to update this folder. Because maybe the folder was not the same in version or something like that.
So I'm running the file with the root directory of SRC, the source code directory. And within the source code directory, there's a subfolder configs with a subfolder demo with a file athena-mnist.json.
Yeah, because
it doesn't find it.
Yeah, because running from the root, right? And I put this file path here. I put the path because I run it from the craft adversarial example. So if let me show you here. So you can see I am running from here. So if I'm running from the path of this file, I have to go one level up and then go to this folder.
Okay,
If
so the two dots goes a level up.
Code from here. Yeah, if you are running from here, so you don't have to level up. This is your subfolder from your in your case.
Okay.
So you need to fix this path or the file name or something like that. You need to check that. That will go case by case. Yeah.
That explains it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So any other questions?
I have a suggestion. I don't know. Is it possible? Maybe Ying can set up all these in Google Colab. I mean, run successful for the sample, and then share that to those who haven't set successful. I mean, Google Colab. Yeah, if we run the sample successful in Google Colab and share that to the classmates, then they can use that. They don't have to set up. That may save you time. You don't have to set everyone. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one. But in that case, if anyone, for example, there are multiple students need to use that. So how do you? So they will update the same, multiple people update the same folder or update the same file. They will do this file together. I'm not sure.
Or once you set up, whether you can copy that in their account or something. I'm not familiar, but that may be a solution. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't have experiments using that.
Maybe like she can provide this a notebook kind of thing, and then you can use the notebook, right, to follow through, to generate adversarial example and test it and this kind of thing. That might be helpful.
I have one more question in a somewhat different vein if we're done there, but I don't want to interrupt that discussion if people have more questions.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, ask a question.
So I want to make sure I properly understand the breakdown of what code should go where. So we're supposed to submit a report in the form of a Jupyter notebook, which has its own Python code. But you've already shown today that, for example, you're calculating error rates and things like that, even within the source code files, not within the report notebook. So what exactly goes in the report notebook? Is it just code to basically plot data that's already been processed in the other? I mean, is it just exclusively plots?
That's a good question. Probably yes. Yeah. Basically, a notebook that show the result that you've got, right? Generating the plots that show the result. Instead of like the part that you generate stuff, you could ignore that, but like from the data that you got after running Athena and other part of the task, right? You want to plot the results, right? Put those in addition to the comments, discussion, right? What you see in the plots in the notebook. I mean, if you want, you can also, I mean, we thought maybe this way is easier, but if you want to, you can also use LaTeX, basically plot these stuff and create a PDF, right, with discussion and plots, whatever, however it works for you better.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an example for you.
Is there any other questions?
Yeah, this might not be a wait for. Okay, this might not be a proper report, but at first we thought of this Jupyter. We were thinking that so it might make your life easier because when you get some data, you can simply write some script to plot the figure in here. So and in this one you can add something like this, add a shell. You can make it as a markdown, and then you can write something like here, evaluation, for example, something like that. Then you just describe something like some results, describe your observations here. So you can see when you click this on, whatever in here will become text. So
right.
Something like that. So that's why we thought that this might be easier for you. You don't have to management the alignments or something like that. So you simply put everything here, and then you can write some script, and it will plot, get the results ready for you, something like that. But yeah, either way, if you are more comfortable with some other tools or some other editors, go with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions?
So you can see when you have some other data, you can plot another figure, something like that. Maybe because we are more comfortable with in this way, but yeah, you're right. Just maybe if you are not familiar with this stuff, it just be another burden. Okay.
Yeah, that was very useful. Thank you guys for asking these questions. Let's maybe stop here, and if there are more issues, again, try to create a new issue for this repository that we have, right? And move and provide as much information as possible so we could replicate the issue, and we could help with that. Yeah.
Don't be shy. There are no stupid questions. Just yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
don't be
way
shy.
how it works, like this is how you deliver stuff, right? So you create a repo for your own project, right? For your team in this GitHub organization, right? I suppose we have your GitHub account you already gave us, I suppose. If not, yes, you should put it in the associated issue, so we could add you to this organization, and then you could create and update your repository there. And this is the way how you deliver things, right? Through GitHub.
Oh, one more comment. I will set up a server for you guys to upload your generated AEs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys. See you soon.